A year after rescuers set this porcupine free, she came back with a special surprise. The rescuers always remembered raising the porcupine fondly. They took him in as a baby and watched him grow into adulthood, and although that was a year previous, they still saw him all the time. The story begins with a potato farmer working his land in the South African town of Hoedspruit. Now, as if farming isn't tough enough in itself, the cherished crops that were being cultivated are also a prime target for hungry animals. More generally, as well, farms make an attractive buffet for these creatures, since tool handles can be covered in residual salt-filled sweat. Additionally, porcupines eat the sap from wood, and farms are a great source for both of these things. As a result, many farmers leave traps out for porcupines with the intention of catching or killing them, and that's how a baby porcupine became trapped in one potato farmer's cage back in 2015. Instead, he left the baby in the care of the Daktari Bush School and Wildlife Orphanage. Daktari is the brainchild of Ian and Michelle Merrifield, a couple dedicated to helping African wildlife. The organization's official website states, having a safe place to rehabilitate injured or orphaned animals has always been a part of the vision of Daktari. It has also grown into an integral part of the education of the local children. The farmer had contacted Daktari because of the organization's passion for orphaned animals, and although it hadn't been a home to a porcupine before, Daktari happily accepted the farmer's captured porcupette as its first. They had to learn pretty much everything on the fly, too. He had to be bottle-fed, Ian Merrifield told the Dodo in 2016, but we had to estimate what he would need. We tried to do research online, but there wasn't a lot of information out there. The couple did, however, have experience with caring for small animals and guessed that the basic approach with porcupettes was similar. We used mammals that we cared for before as a baseline, he explained. But their homemade baby concoction needed one last ingredient. We added Protexin, which is a bacteria that they need to aid in digestion. Merrifield explained. Spiky, moreover, loved the homemade formula, and at first he accepted nothing else. Spiky was fed on a diet of diced fruit and vegetables in porridge, which he apparently couldn't get enough of. He really liked eating. Eating and sleeping were his whole life, Merrifield recalled. The porcupine fell in love with his human parents and adored affection from both of them, and Daktari's volunteers, too. And although petting a porcupine sounds dangerous, Spiky isn't as bristly as his name suggests. Then one day he was old enough to fend for himself. The time was approaching when Spiky would have to leave his family and go back to the wild. We just decided he would be happier free, Merrifield said. And despite being released from Daktari's care, Spiky did return. We aren't sure if it's because he needs the food or just enjoys our company, Merrifield joked. Whatever the reason, though, they had made a friend for life, and he was a gift that just kept giving. During the year after his release, Spiky visited Daktari with something the Merrifields never expected. He brought some porcupettes of his own. It would seem that sexing porcupines is harder than it may sound. So we were a bit surprised when she showed up with babies, Daktari's co-founder concluded, but it was a welcome surprise, and everyone was overjoyed to meet the porcupettes. Unlike Spiky, though, the new porcupettes were a little more cautious around the humans at Daktari. They preferred to remain in the shadows of the building instead of going inside like their mother. It's wonderful seeing Spiky live a full life in the wild and having a family of her own, Merrifield said. I feel like a very proud parent, and he has every reason to. Daktari isn't just saving one life at a time, though. As a result of educating children on conservation and the proper treatment of animals, the staff are helping so many more.